Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and start. I think my mic is working. I'm unsure. We'll go from left to right this time. We have the 31Q versus Vinicio. Fairly normal start. So first thing I notice is like I see this, but usually you want to start here. So if your opponent kicks and pincers, you can go ahead and capture. I think a more traditional fit is something like this. White captures the side, white has to play this, or white answers and black needs to fix. I'm actually unsure how to fix. This probably is okay. And then white can capture here. Black can play this one, or white needs to fix on the bottom, and uh, black can come out here. Sometimes giving up the stone as well. The other one is like we could just play here. Fairly simple position to play. And then black can either fix or attack or play elsewhere. Generally, if you play a big move elsewhere, white is going to follow up with something like this, and then later there's going to be a 3-3 invasion. But when you enter this and then now you're coming out, you kind of force yourself into a position where these stones don't really have a base, and you're going to continuously run these groups out. The other solution is like we play here, but it's not as good. We would want to leave the option to invade the corner later, so with something like this, now we're comfortable giving up, especially with here, so maybe white needs to play this one. And then we can run the stones out. I wouldn't say this is like perfect, but it's definitely a way of playing. So in the game, we jumped out. White fixes. I think white should extend this direction, even if black gets this. Like, you're not going to die locally. Oops. But if we're going to respond, I'd probably play high. But there's nothing wrong with responding. Just a preference. I would still two space, as you saw in the game. Black can play here, but also are you really going to spend a move to fix? Right, I think black has time to come back and actually fix. If you jump, maybe it's a little bit different, but I don't know if I want to spend more moves here, especially when the bottom is so low. Black also gets to jump out. Okay. This peep is definitely wrong. Double Hane is wrong too. Should have we should definitely connect. Wow. Normally so if you play like this, if you attach on top, you have to be sure that you're only taking the outside. Otherwise you need to attach underneath and just give black the the points, because regardless he's going to get them. And this is a lot healthier because now, like, if the opponent tries to go down this direction, you can actually put pressure on these stones. So like he saves these ones, but these ones are hurt. Whereas here, when he connects to these stones, we can attach, and if they take, we're putting pressure on these ones. So it's important that we're picking the correct battles here. Here, we just don't have a good way of handling our stones, so we should just connect. And now black has to connect up some way, so it can be this one, it can be here, it can connect. Regardless of what happens, I think white needs to now fix. A simple jump would work, because here we can do this, and you can connect underneath. If they bump, we can always protect. If they back off, we can fix by connecting. And black is only going to be hurting their own stones. So it's important that we don't let them connect everywhere. And making bad trades like this is not a good idea. One thing, though, is because of the connection in this, black can play this now. But when we connect, we can cut the outside. So later, if black doesn't respond, we might be able to get some endgame here. But black is safe. This is a little weird. Is this really the best move? I don't think so. Sorry, my voice is a little scratched, or my throat's feeling scratched. At this point, the left side group is the one in trouble. So if the opponent just plays here, well, now black is threatening to cut off the two stones. And if you fix, black can even play here or play this one, and your stone here isn't really doing anything. So we need to continue with fixing our shape here, which honestly I don't know. I don't know the best way to do it. The other thing is black can play here, and you're probably hoping to push through, but black isn't going to die. So potentially we need to play something here, but then later we have to deal with that. There's also this as well. Like we need to deal with potential weaknesses. So the simple solution would be to just probably protect the important stones and let the other stones die. But like this, black is answering. If you're gonna play, just push instead. Because now if they honey, you can punish their mistake. They're unlikely to honey regardless, so they're going to extend. But this area is super important. You should just focus on attacking. Again, not the important area. We need to focus on saving our stones. Black is getting really nice moves here. And giving your opponent so I understand what you're trying to do, but in reality, you didn't get much, right? Like you made the line weaker or like further back. If you wanted to make more points, you'd have to play to save these stones while raising the position. But again, this area is a lot bigger than this, right? And if you're hoping, for some miracle that, black can't kill you, the thing is that when you run this group out, black gets stones along this line, so they're going to get a stone here, and they're going to profit on the top side. They're probably going to profit in the corner as well. So like you'll no longer have any invasions in the corner. So the left side stones are super weak right now. Black got a really nice Panuki in the center, and white finally ran. Attaching is... If black just plays this way, you're fully surrounded, right? So naturally we'll play the Atari, and then we need to make some sort of ice space, but then black can Hana here. So what if we just extend? Well, black can still play the Hane here, and we don't have the ladder, so we play the knight's move and we give up 2 stones. Probably not ideal. If this way black can just connect, still in the same issue. We now need to fix, but big difference is this black group right here, fully alive. This black group right here, fully alive. White group not alive. White group not alive. So the issue now is black is in a very strong position because he separated white stones. Okay. Oh. I mean, that's not terrible. But I wonder if we needed to do that. I guess, like, if we don't... Well, no. I think this is fine. White tried doing... White should play this way if they want to do something, but I'm guessing they read this. But this is going to be more powerful. Right? Black needs to protect this. Unfortunately, 9 doesn't work, but we don't need to play 9 anymore. Instead, we can play the Atari to try to take stones, so the corner is good. And then now we can run our stones out, or we can play a knight's move to try to live locally. I don't know if this is the best way to handle this, but it seems to be relatively fine. Black is still leading, though. In the game, we added these moves. Black got this move. We should try to run out faster. If you play this way, black is happy to just jump in. Like, you have actual issues when, you only have 2 parts of an area, and then black can run in 2 directions. So black coming in means, like, you have no eyes. Attacking the weakness is good. Issue being that's way too far. And the reason that's too far is, like, when you back out, black is just happy to fight this. Because when you cut, well, black cuts and saves these stones, and this shape by itself is relatively strong, because this group by white is not going to be strong either. Black attached, that's the wrong idea. I know what you're trying to do, you're trying to protect, but, like, when you're strong on all sides, don't give your opponent forcing moves. If they play like this, like, you can back off, or you can play here and then play this one, but, like, I wouldn't give a stone. So I'd be happy to either play the knight's move, which leads to something like this, where I've captured the stone, but they'll be alive locally, or I just descend and threaten to cut the group off. And if it's like this, then I can focus on actually just cutting the stone off. Because still locally, this group is not fully alive. And with our connection, we don't need to worry about playing a final move. We can actually just cut here, because now with this, the only way for white to handle this group would be to draw out this way, but at this point, do we care about these stones if we capture the whole left side? Maybe. But I don't think so. Okay. Not sure you needed to do that. You could always just ask this move. And if they respond, then you can come back to the top. There's, if they fix, then you can still come, well, maybe not. Yeah, this one would be fine too. You can also just connect directly. The bamboo has no purpose here. I don't see the ability to cut through. Taking a liberty off is going to be more important. Okay, these moves are important. Do have to answer those. I would not jump. I'd either slide again or slide like this. My goal would be to push and cut later. And if I jump, I'm allowing them to push, which means when I try to push and cut, I can get net. Whereas if I slide, it'd be really silly of them to play this move. Because now I'm still ahead of them, right? You don't have to respond to it anymore. You can either Tanuki. If you Tanuki and they attach, you're just going to go on top and cut, because locally we're not going to die. And we can still push and cut. We also have, you don't have to cut too. You can also just play here. Force them to fix their weakness. And we've gained significant profit here. Obviously 3 should be somewhere where white has to respond, though. I was just making an example of the right side group. Okay. So this is kind of like just bad technique. We probably shouldn't force the push. Just play here directly, and if they push like this, extending or Hane would be best. If they play this way, you can always fix. Right, and then there's no cut. Alright, and then kind of where the game goes wrong for white is they save the wrong side. You absolutely need to play this way and save your group. So black kind of gave up a lot of points on the right side. They probably should have not given white so much strength in the center. Because what happens when you give white the strength is one, this is not an eye, this is not an eye. You're kind of missing an eye here too. You have half an eye, and then you have a quarter of an eye. So you have 3/4 of an eye with this black group, and you can technically connect in the center, but with white being so strong, it's a little bit hard. So if we didn't give white this much strength, then this would have been a lot better and a lot easier game for white. But after this, black just kind of is able to. Sorry, after this, black gains too much strength, and then locally he's getting all the big moves in the center. So when you try to live locally on top, you run into the issue where everything else falls apart. Any questions about this game? I'm not hearing anything. Okay. I have Shark Animal and Caroline. This is a very large gap in in reading. Fairly normal. Nothing wrong with it. This is interesting. I would probably want to play here, so later when black plays something else. Like this, you can then come back and fix or force the opponent to answer like this, and like you've taken both sides. And usually what happens is this forces the opponent to fix with here. But later, when you get a move like this, you get more options when it comes to attacking the opponent. For example, black needs to connect, and then you can play here into something. Well, maybe make this exchange first and then play here, so you're alive. But you'll be able to live locally with like one extra move. Sometimes black will just give up some corner points to make sure the 2 stones are dead. Just some interesting tactics there. Usually we don't play this way because now black is actually more efficient, right? The stone is not as close and it's a bit further. So black probably gains a little bit more points with efficiency there. You play this way. This is possible, but you run into the issue where it's still possible to invade. I'm not 100% sure, but I guess with something like this, black would be looking to invade. Otherwise, when you play here, black just gets nice endgame. So in this position, maybe we can focus on a more solid stance or approach, or you can try attaching, and then with this position, you're looking at either cutting or playing kind of like an attacking move on the right side to attack the stones. Either is possible. This is a little, I want to say it's slow. It's just a little slow. Yeah, this is a big move. This is probably okay. Yeah, when I think about it, this is big, and then not pincering on the top side is big too. So with something like this, if well, do we have the ladder first? I think we do have the ladder. So black is more likely to play this way. Here you can raise the position with a nice move, or not a nice move, of Kosumi. And this might be helpful probably on this side though. Do beware that black can try something here. So maybe we do something here, but again, the Aji exists. And if you try raising the position, you're raising the in-between where both sides are low. So one way to raise it is like this, a jump, or you play on the other side. We can also lean on the group and try to make the left side larger. It's rather difficult. White, I wouldn't say white's behind, but in this position, white is kind of flat everywhere and doesn't have any potential, where black kind of has all the potential moves, and white is left with invasions, counterattacking, and a flat side that can't really do anything. So white raised the position on the bottom. That's perfectly fine. Attaching is not ideal. I would still push as black. And then if you wanted to do something with this, I can't speak English. You could slide and force white to try and make the sacrifice to solidify the territory, but this would be too big for black. If like this, I think black is happy to have reduced the points here, especially with when we're undercutting here, we have this push and cut. So playing A would be super big. Black decided to play on top. White rightfully plays the J3 move, kind of settling the lower end position. I wouldn't even attack black. I would just solidify the points here. You could even play here first. So if black connects, you can come back and play diagonal or a knight's move. Diagonal is probably going to be better. What you're aiming for is to cut the group, and black doesn't have a nice way of like fixing the shape. So one thing black can do is do something like this, and you can take this, but black still has the cut to fix. So it's possible black tries this and kind of like tries to develop the center, but white gains a lot of points in the meantime. If black spends a move to um, play here or here, like fix the group this way, white should focus on attacking somewhere else. Likely, you probably want to do something about the side here. So you can force black to see if they'll add another move. If they add another move, black is over concentrated, and you can come back to attacking. And if black doesn't, later in the game, you have this peep, which will reduce the sides. I think in this position, in particular, attacking the top side is going to be biggest. But like this, we're playing very crudely. Why are we fixing our opponent's shape? I don't understand this. If you're going to cut, you should cut. But if you're not, I mean, like, we can't even cut this way, right? Because we don't have the ladder. Yeah, we don't have the ladder. But you can raise the position. That's something, right? But I don't understand why we're not cutting if we're going to play this way. This is a very crude cut, and I highly don't recommend it because you need to come back and fix the shape. But this means later black is going to try and capture, or they will capture the one stone, and you're left with almost nothing. So black is going to be able to, can black play this ladder? No, black can't play this ladder, so black can just run out. Now you have to save the one stone that you made a cutting point with. So in this case, just protect. Don't add stones to your opponent if you don't need to. Don't give your opponent a free stone either. Like, you're probably worried that they're going to play this way, but like, you should be happy that you can break their shape. So if they play this extension, you can Knight's move if you're courageous, or you can extend or jump if you want to keep the territory. But at the end of the day, we made these exchanges for no real profit. Extend, block, you should just take immediately. There's no reason to not. And then you can play the move if you want to, but I think just connecting your stones back or jumping is going to be best. At this point, you could also, technically speaking, you could also Tanuki and play on the top side. If the opponent plays like this, you're just going to fix and then allow your opponent to try and attack the stone. One of Zchen's method is, leave a weak group on the board, right? I personally would, again, make this exchange and then play here. If like this, then I would come back and fix. Or even just play here and leave the potential to cut. Or you can just cut directly. The opponent extends, we can fix. Fix with something like this. We jumped, we finally took, which is good. We're playing the wrong move. We 100% should be playing this one. We just don't need to introduce Miraji here. We just bump, and it's good. I think this would be fine. The opponent can't live locally, so there's no point in white trying this. If white plays like this, they're just giving you strength on the outside. If they extend, they leave the corner open. So white's in a bit of a pickle playing this way. Even if they jump, you can add another move. It's solid territory. Attacking white is fine. I wonder if we can play this way, but I imagine it's not easy. But at least with the Atari here, we can capture stones. Like, white doesn't actually have the liberties to capture us. So if white just makes these types of moves, locally white has to cut to make anything happen. And with stuff like this, they're still not locally alive. You can probably even play this one first with the Ko. And if this does happen, and white miraculously makes a Seki somehow, maybe you can play this way. And white makes a Seki. Um, white loses a lot of endgame here too. But I don't think white can make a Seki here. It's a little bit too hard. Even with something like this. Because we can take here and then take this. So we connect, they play here. And then we need to probably play this way. They can throw in this. And then we just have 3 outside liberties. They don't have enough liberties to capture us on the inside. So more likely or not, white can't play this way. But I can understand if you were low on time. It's definitely difficult. I would block. Especially when you're connected here. The idea being, like, even if they get this, I don't think this is enough. Even so, like, here, you can just connect. They have to play here, and then you can live. So they have to protect the outside stone. But I guess, like, we're worried about this, but I don't think this is something to worry about. They can't break out. Especially when we double hunting. I guess the only real worried would be if white can try to capture our stones this way, but you shouldn't be worried about that when they can't even fill all the liberties, right? So they would need to, oh, I see. They can connect here? Question mark? Okay, they can connect there, so we would not be able to play 19. Unless you just don't care that they do connect and you just take the points in the corner. That would be possible too. So, maybe a little sketchy, but white kind of just dies here. So white really trying to run. If you're going to run with the group, we need to be able to make sacrifices or like absolutely positively be able to attack the weaker stones that we're cutting. In reality, even if we do get this, you're looking at a position where when white does get out, black makes a simple jump, and then now the top side is theirs. So you spent 8, 9, you spent 9, 10. You spent 10 moves in the center to destroy very little territory, and you gave black way more. Not to mention this 3/3 invasion is still there. So in the actual game, black just was able to attack you. You gave up stones, rightfully so. This is good. This is good. So we got to save our stones, which is cool. I wonder why we're not just connecting. If like this, we can just fix. I don't know how we fix though. Probably this way, but you run into the issue where white is going to try and attack these stones. So I guess it's understandable. But if you're going to just take the stones, just take them anyways. It feels really weird to. Alright, let me put it in perspective. Like these stones are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're worth 5 points, but you have to do it in Gote, right? So if it's in Gote, it's not worth 10 points. It's worth 5. Whereas if you were to spend a move like this, and then they save, well, now you get to spend 2 moves on the outside that are worth more than 5. But here, like, taking is pretty big, because if white connects, like, you actually have a connection issue. So the order here really matters. I think this is where white goes wrong. I mean, white gave black a really large wall, so like I'm not surprised, but we don't have the ability to jump in because black is super thick everywhere. So black nicely allows white to make shape here. In this case, when our opponent, okay, well, maybe first we shouldn't play just random moves, right? I'm sure you had reasons to stuff here, but if you were to protect this shape, right, you could play here, and then later you can attack the opponent by going out, or letting them fix your shape for you. Corner is always going to be bigger than the. I shouldn't say always, but like in situations like this, you either need to attack from the outside or play a move that protects the most amount of points. And in this case, this does not protect the most amount of points because immediately I can jump in. One thing you could do is play something like this, and this would also protect the most amount of points. And it locally also forces white to play from the outside even more. But when it comes down to like white plays a nice knight's move, this is kind of where you need to attack your opponent. You can't just play more moves like this because you're giving them too much on the outside. When you had the opportunity earlier, sorry, to play moves like A and jump out at B, So in the game, white actually got some pretty good shape here. The bump is questionable. Like if black jumps out, like you run into this position where you actually don't have two eyes, you have 1.5 or just one. So black not jump. I don't know why we're trying to connect underneath. We should 100% be trying to attack. Excuse me, attack this group. You can always connect underneath later. If they play here, you can lean on the outside group to attack this group. And the goal for us would be to fill the cutting point here while we're attacking the group. That would be super big. White took the opportunity to play there. It's a very small move at this point. We should definitely try something here. If the opponent connects, we can Hane. They can't play this way for obvious reason. Well, actually, they're connecting underneath, huh? Well, we don't live, so I guess they have to play this way, and then you can 100% attack your opponent. Your opponent comes out, but we'll have one eye, so maybe we probably shouldn't poke. We should still play like this, and black is the one that's going to continuously run. And with this, with the group running out, black has the weak group in this position, and it's not very good. So we took the stone. I think we lost a lot of points here as white. So I think any lead that we did gain is probably problematic. Oh my goodness. I think black also lost a lot of points here too. So the issue with the way that this was played, maybe they were thinking Q9. I don't know when you said that, learning balance. I'm sorry. So the the issue with this is one, black can play this anytime, right? So white has half an eye here, and we really shouldn't be trying to kill the half eye. If we're gonna do something, we should try. When they played the bamboo, maybe. Black should try attacking this group in whole. You really want to stop white from playing this, because we don't care if they take 2 stones. In fact, we don't care if they take 4 stones. What you care about is getting the outside influence, because 4 stones is not worth a lot of points. And then here, black played a lackluster move. This is a very strong attack to have on your opponent. When you play here, you're allowing your opponent to kind of set the position where you're getting cut off. Maybe that's not completely correct. We can also play here as well. If you play the Atari on top, white can cut these stones off as well. So generally, black will want to play this way and then focus on this. Otherwise, white just gives up a few stones, and white is out. Whereas, if you play here, white can't really give up. So first of all, we don't have a stone at D11 anymore. And when white plays like this, they're not really going to try to play this way because they're just going to give you an eye. But also, if they try to forcibly disconnect you, they have to connect up and gote. So this whole group is in danger. So what'll happen is they'll probably make one exchange, and then you can jump out. Which means later this group is under attack, but the difference is that we have Sente to attack both groups. Whereas white was ahead of black, and in this position, black is ahead of white. Please stop doing this. Why are you afraid of this? You just let the opponent cut you. If they play here, then you can bamboo, and they need to fix. But you don't need to bamboo, because they cannot cut you. You have successfully killed white. And, on top of that, these 2 stones are not safe. These 4 stones need to capture these 2 stones in order to live. So if white simply plays here, then you capture these stones and you get a lot more points. And white is left with not so many good options. I would probably lean on the strong stones, so if they made ice base or ice shape, would play like this. I don't know if it's good if we can play this way. I think this is probably okay, because if they play like this... No, we can't play that way, because we can get cut. In that case, we just extend. And when black jumps out... So we have half an eye here, right? Not the most thrilling way to play, but we can play forcing moves. We can also jump out. We also have a peep. But this move really hurt us. If you're going to jump out, you should have jumped out immediately. So we played moves that are not in our best interest. We made an empty triangle. I would almost want to play here and then do something with this to like get out, but when our opponent gets this shape, I think it's almost over. This group looks like it'll die. Okay, good. Ignoring. Wrong direction. I would still push here. So now if they play here, you can fix any holes. I don't think this has any way to live with 2 eyes. These stones are not important. This group probably needs a little more support, so maybe we can play something like this to capture these stones. Because locally, these stones should be dead, and it'll be it'll be much harder for white to live with this type of stuff. I won't say it's impossible, but white is pretty far behind at this point. Still worth trying to play it out. Nothing wrong with trying to live, but I think the game is over. Any questions about the game? Okay. This game is Lieutenist. Lutenist. I know how to read. And Go AL. Alright. Fairly normal opening. There are going to be differences with all teachers. I will just say that as a Q player and a new 1-dan player, please, you can learn how to play the kick, but in the early game, in the opening, when there's like almost no Josekis, please don't kick. I beg of you guys, don't kick. And the reason I say this is because the situation later in the game becomes super complicated, and a lot of the times I'll hear complaints that, oh no, my 3-3 was still invaded, or oh no, they had a very large corner, I couldn't invade the 3-3. But the reality is, you can invade the 3-3, and you have no points in the corner when you play the kick. If you want points in the corner, play a 3-4. Double 3-4s if you want points on the corner. Doesn't guarantee you points on the corner, but 3-4s. If you want thickness on the outside, is just play here. So give up the corner and play like this. This is a possibility. Or just back off. Backing off is also good, because when they play like this, later you can add another move that's going to be slightly more efficient than the kick. Because now, when you kick, you give the opponent... Whoops. you give the opponent the, so let's do this. When you kick, you give the opponent the extra move, but the weakness is also slightly different. Here you can just invade directly and there's no issue. So for example, you can play this way. Chances are they'll probably just give up the stone, but that's fine. Locally, this is an even result. Invasion is fine. Hane, we should not do the Hane. Now white is super thick, unfortunately. Hey Wukong, thanks for joining. The trending now is we just play here directly, or we play a move on the top side, where we can build a base on both sides. Probably a 4/4, so when they play here, we can always attach to bring our stones out. Here you can also play with something like this. I wouldn't recommend it, but if like in emergency situations we need to build a base quickly, this would be an option. I didn't even notice that black played a move on the bottom here. If your opponent plays like this, and they have an open 3/4 corner, it might be in your best interest to approach it. If you're worried about being pincered, you can play further away. This would force them to either enclose and then you can take an extension, or you can play elsewhere. But generally, approaching is fine because Josekis are usually still important in the corner. So we allowed this black play. I'm assuming you've seen the 3/4 shoulder hits, but usually it's not on the cornerstone. It's usually on the extension. The reason for this is because it's on the lower side. If you play like this, you're giving them the option to first jump up on this one, but also they might just ignore you and play a capping move. So when you play stuff like this, you're forced to jump out, and then white has a higher position. They're coming around you while you're stuck in between uh, two white groups, which isn't healthy for black. Black is running in a very small way. At this point, like, this is kind of like a more of, it's not even a reading problem. It's more of like, I play here, my opponent plays here. So is this good for me? And if your opponent is able to steal your base, it's probably not a good idea to continue playing that move, right? I know that, some players will think or say like, "Oh, I didn't think about it," um, but the only solution I can give you is that you should. You should think about it. Your group doesn't have a base, so you should think about getting a base. That's the only thing I can really say about that. Attachment is fine. At this point, I would probably want to play something like this. But there is some issues. If white goes for the outside, you would have to live like this, but giving white this Finuki is very troublesome, so you may want to extend, but then white just fixes, and now we run into this issue where, can I play this way? The answer is probably. Simply, probably not, actually. Now I think about it, I can do this. If you play here, you lose these stones and you don't get much in return. So I guess we do have to extend. We have to continue extending, but there's no cut here. If you play away, we're not worried about being cut. First, you can connect like this, very big. The other connection is you can play the Atari underneath and play here. This is connected. So white is unlikely to play that specific cut. If they do something, it'll be like this, but they're going to force you into bamboo, or you can connect here and threaten to eat the stones, but if you play this way, you're also threatening the stones. So, for example, like this. Later, white has the extra liberty to take the stones, but with the extra Aji, you can make an eye like this. In this case, we made an eye, but it was in Gote, or I guess Sente, sorry. Had to answer. White continues to grow the top side. We bambooed. That's fine. Still attacking the opponent is a good idea. At this point, we have a lot of cutting points. I'd be a little bit worried about my position as white, and I would just connect. With the solid outside, it's unlikely that black is going to be able to play this way. But with the extra cut, I think black can be capable of playing some bizarre sequences that could ruin our territory. Unfortunately, we keep running like this as black, so we're going to face a lot of danger. And with this attack, we allowed our opponent to get all these outside stones. And white has almost, I mean, I'm not even going to count it, but it's probably 60 points already, right? We didn't really gain anything with our stones. So it's important that when we're making our decisions, that we kind of see the flow of stones. So like if our opponent's able to play this really nice large move, we probably shouldn't allow our opponent to continue to play in the center to get these like large areas. In fact, the direction here is, even if you had just played this move, this would have been a lot better, making the top side flatter. Or even here, where if they do play this way, you can force white to make it flat. So in the actual game, we had to run the group out, and our opponent got a lot of moves on the outside. Our opponent jumped in. If I was white, I would probably play like this, simply because I would feel that my outside is strong, and I don't need to reduce my opponent any further. I just want to make points. And if my opponent tries to jump in, well, then you can take advantage of the fact that they're allowing you to break into the side. Like, they're naturally going to have to fix their shapes, and you can either jump out or jump in, up to you. But black didn't get this area that you invaded, and they tried to run in, but we only care that we keep basically these points. We have a lot of points here. We also have Komi. So playing simple when we're ahead is very important. There's also the chance that black will try to counterattack. So black may try something like this, but we shouldn't be worried because if black tries to counterattack us, we're getting a wall. We have a wall here. Black has nowhere to run. And technique for this, I wouldn't jump here. Or sorry, I wouldn't extend. I would either jump, attach, shoulder hit, or knight's move. And the idea being that I don't care if they capture these stones. It's already flat. So I could play stuff like this. It's okay to give your opponent territory when you reduce them. That's perfectly fine. Especially when we're far, far ahead. Okay, so quick position here. Black could start this fight. I don't know how good it would go, but like this is black's best option to really try to break into the top side or try to kill these stones. Not the ideal option, but one way of doing it. So we jump in, we have to attack our opponent. Black is looking to use the cutting stones, which is important. Kicking is not how we're going to live. If you play this way, white can 100% creep underneath, but as white played in the game, we don't have the option of playing this way because you're playing in the center where white has walls everywhere. You're not getting a bunch of eyes there. Blocking also doesn't give you eyes because of this. I have no idea what white played. That has issues. So black can attach for half an eye. I wouldn't recommend playing there. I'd go one further. I guess he still has half an eye there. But we can also push in this case. And you're unlikely to be cut because of this. At this point, black does not have a lot of options here. After this, so we made an exchange. You can kind of look at it like this. Like this is white's area, right? If we play move and they answer, it's a neutral position. We didn't lose anything. If you play a move and they don't answer, well, you just gave them 2 points. So it's a negative. So in that case, we should probably look to play moves that we can, like stuff like this, cutting points, in order to make something happen. But at this point, I think it's a little too late, especially after the bottom. Is there any questions about this game? Okay. Have a great night, guys.